Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, The Tech Codeforces, and today we are going to solve problem number 1875C of Codeforces, that is Jellyfish and Green Apples, which was a part of Codeforces round 901 division 2. Okay, let's understand what exactly question is saying to us. Question says that Jellyfish has n green apple pieces and each green apple pieces weighs 1 kg. So she wants to divide this green apples pieces equally among m people. Okay, and Jellyfish is having a magic knife. So each time Jellyfish can choose one piece of green apple and divide it into smaller pieces, with each piece having half the weight of the original piece. Simple. And now Jellyfish wants to know the minimum number of operations such that she can divide the green apple pieces such that the total weight of apple by each person is the same. So over here we are having n apples and m peoples, and we are supposed to cut n green apples in such a way that we can equally distribute those apples among m peoples. Okay, so now let's try to understand this with the help of an example. So my first test case was like that. I was having 10 apples and the number of people was 5. So I want to equally distribute this 10 apples between those 5 people. So how can I do? After seeing this, I can say that if I'm giving 2 apples to each of the people, each of them, I'm successfully distributing this 10 apples among the 5 people. Okay, so over here I can say that I'm not supposed to perform any cuts so as to give equal halves to each of them. Simple. So another example was for n is equals to 10 and m is equals to 4. That is, I'm having 10 apples and I want to distribute among 4 people. So see, what can I do over here? As I can see that there are 10 apples and 4 people, can I say that at first let's just give 2 apples to each of them. Okay, so I have consumed 8 apples. Now what's the remaining one? Now I'm left with 2 apples and the people are 4. So now what to do further? Now I'm saying that as we are having 2 apples with us, so let's give them a cut. Let's give them a cut. So after cut it will be like this, that this will get distributed into 2 and this will get divided into 2. Okay, so now see, now I'm having 4 people and now I'm having 4 equal halves apple. Now can I say that I can give each of these apples to each of these people? Yes, I can give. Okay, so how many cuts I performed over here? I performed 2 cuts. I performed 2 cuts. That is this one. This is the first one. This is the second one. And this is what we are supposed to return over there. Over here, as I was not performing any cut, so what was my answer? It was 0. Okay, now let's do for the third case. That is n is equals to 3 and m is equals to 4. I'm having 3 apples with me and I have to distribute among 4 people. Okay, now see, I'm having 3 apples with me and the people are 4, that is n is less than m. So I can't give entire 1 apple to any of them. Okay, so anyhow I have to perform a cut. So let's do a cut. Okay, now I'm having, till yet I done 3 cuts. Okay, now it will get divided into 6. It will get divided into 6. Now I'm seeing that I'm having 6 apples with me, 6 apple cuts with me, and number of people are 4. So can I give this 4 to each of them, this 4 to each of them? Okay, so yeah, I have given. Now I'm having this 2 with me. Now I'm having this 2 with me. So again I'm saying that give them a cut. Give them a cut. Now this will be successfully get divided into like this. That is 4. Okay, now again I'm having 4. Now again I'm having 4. So now I can say that yeah, I'm going to give each of this part to each of these people. Each of this part to each of these people. So how many cuts I performed over here? For this case, that is 2. So the total number of cuts is 5. Okay, so now we have understood what exactly we are supposed to perform in the question. Okay, so now what should be our approach to solve this question? So after reading question, I was like, let's go with the condition part, that is if n is odd then I should be doing this, or if m is odd then I should be doing this, and all kind of things. But I failed after doing that. So now what should be the approach? Now see, let's go with the bigger number, that is n is equals to 57 and m is equals to 12. Simple. Now see, when we were having 10 apples and 4 people, what I said at that time, give as many entire apple as possible to each of them. So at that time I was giving 2 to each of them. Okay, after that how many apples were remaining? That is 2. So the same thing we are going to do over here, that is in the first step I'm saying that give as many entire apples as possible to them. So how many apples I can give to them? That is n by m. That is n by m. That is 4 over here. Okay, that is 4 over here. So now how many apples are remaining? We are intended to cut the remaining apples. So how many apples are with me? That is n mod m. N mod m. So what's that value over here? For this case, it is going to be 9. Okay, now I can see that as the number of apple is less than the number of people at that time, I'm going to cut my apples. So now see, as there are 9 apples, so after performing the cut, it is going to be 18. It is going to be 18 because it is given in the question that you are going to cut each apple in 2 equal halves. Each apples in 2 equal halves. So I am having 18. So now see, let's maintain a count of cuts with us. Okay, I did 2 cuts over here. I did 2 cuts over here. So now I can see that the number of apple parts is greater than the number of people. So now I'm saying that, yeah, again do this thing, that is give them the parts as maximum as possible. So after doing this operation, now again what will be number of apples I'm left with? It is going to be 6. It is going to be 6. Simple, because I was having 18 apple cuts with me. So what I did, I gave each of them to this 12 people. So how many apples I'm left with? 18 minus 12 is 6. 18 minus 12 is 6. So now again I can see that the number of apple is less than the number of people. So what I'll do, I'll simply do one thing, that is again I'm going to cut this apple into 12 pieces. And after cutting that, I can see that now I can give each of these apple parts to each of them. Each of these apple parts to each of them. Okay. So how many cuts I did over here? That is 6. I performed 6 cuts now. So what's the remaining number of apple parts with me? That is 0. Why? 12 mod 12 is going to give me my answer as 0, because I gave all these 12 parts to each of them. I gave all these 12 parts to each of them, and hence my value is 0 over here. So now as I can see that the n is equals to 0, I can say that, yeah, I have successfully distributed equal parts of those apples to this 12 people. Okay, and how many cuts I performed over there? That is 6 plus 2 is 8. Simple, that's it. So now let's try to understand the 4 test case which was given in the question with the same approach. Okay, that is n is equals to 3 and m is equals to 4. As I can see that my n is less than m, so I'm pretty much sure that, yeah, I have to perform the cuts. So how many cuts I should be performing? That is 3. I'm having 3 apples with me. This 3 will get cut into 6. This 3 will get cut into 6. So now after performing the cut, I was saying that I will give n by m apples to each of them. And for this case, this n by m is 1. That is, I'm going to give one part to each of them. So after giving one part, how many parts are with me? That is 2. I'm left with 2. And how to calculate this 2? Simply by doing n mod m. Okay, that is 6 mod 4. I'm left with 2. Again, as I can see that my n is less than m, so I'm pretty much sure that I have to perform the cut. What I'll do, I'll make a cut. So after performing a cut, I can see that, yeah, I'm having 4 pieces with me. So now I can see that as the number of people were 4, I'm having 4. I'm going to give each of them to them. Okay, and now what's the new n? New n is again, that is 4 mod 4, which is equals to 0. So now as n is equals to 0, I can say that I have successfully distributed my n apples to m people. Okay, so how many cuts I performed over here? That is 5. Okay, so now let's try to understand the second case, which I said that we'll discuss it later on. That is for n is equals to 1 and m is equals to 5. So for this case, this approach will keep on going. Okay, the value of n is never going to be 0. Let's try to see that. As I can see that the n is less than m. So see, I was having 1. So after performing a cut, it will get distributed into 2. Okay, now again after performing a cut, it will get distributed into 4. Simple. Now again I can see that my n is less than m, so again I'll perform a cut. It will get distributed into 8. Now I can say that, yeah, I'm going to give 5 to them and I left with 3. I will left with 3. So now again my n is equals to 3. Okay, I'll be performing a cut. So after that I'll be having 6 with me. Now again see, I'm saying that I'm going to give each of these parts to this 5 people, and after that I'll be left with single one. So now I can see that I started with n is equals to 1 and again I'm having n is equals to 1. So yeah, after performing certain operations, I reached to the starting point. So for such cases, I can see that there are no such possible combinations and I'm going to simply print -1 in my answer. So now the question arises, as my n is never going to be 0, so this will keep on working, and this is going to give me TLE, time limit exceeded error. Now just to avoid this TLE, what we'll do, I'm going to check only for 35 cases. I'm going to check only for 35 cases or 32 cases or 40 cases. You can check by yourself. As I was saying, 1 apple, so I did 1 cut, it get converted into 2. So after forming 2 cuts, it get converted into 4. In 4 forming 2 cuts, I'm having 8. So after that, I'm going to cut this 8 apple, it will get converted into 16. So as to cut the 16, I have to perform the 16 cuts, and 16 will get converted into 32. So now I can see that the maximum number of cuts is gonna be 2 power n. Okay. So I'm saying that for the case of 32, something in between 32 to 40, I'll be having my answer with me. And if the number of steps exceeds this 32 or 40, then I'm pretty much sure that, yeah, there are some conditions of being repetition. So at that time, I'm going to simply run -1. Okay. Now let's move into the solution where you will exactly understand how this is gonna work. See, we were having n apples and m people with us. So yeah, we have taken their input. Initially my count is going to be 0 and the number of steps is going to be 0. So now see how many cuts we were performing over there. If we were having 10 apples with us and we are supposed to distribute them among 4, then after giving 8 to them we are doing 2 cuts. This is what we are doing over here. The number of cuts is n mod m, and as the remaining apples is 2, so after performing 2 cuts it is going to be 4. This is what doing over here. We are reinitializing at n as 2 into the remaining parts, that is n mod m. Okay, and after performing each step we are incrementing our s. As I said over there that I'm going to have an answer within 30 to 40 values. Okay, so I'm taking s as 32. If my number of steps is greater than 32, I'm sure that there are going to be some repetitions, and hence I'll print -1 over there. And if there are no such conditions, then simply I can say that yeah, I'm going to have answer, that is I can divide n apples among m peoples. Simply I'm going to print my count over here. Okay, that is the number of cuts I should be making to divide n into m peoples. That's it. So I hope you understood all the logic and the concepts over here. So yeah, thank you guys and have a good day.